fair Ecmede, whom Nestor had awarded to him from Tenedos, when Achilles took it, next them a mess, and she was the daughter of wise Arsenius, and the Uchians had given her to Nestor because he excelled all them in counsel. First she set before them a fair and well-made table that had feet of siennas. On it there were a vessel of bronze and an onion to give relish to the drink with honey in case of barley meal. There was also a cup of rare workmanship, where the old man had brought with him from home, studded with bosses of gold. It had 4 handles on each of them, were the 2 golden doves feeding, and it had 2 feet to stand on. Anyone else would hardly have been able to lift it from the table when it was full, but Nestor could do so quite easily. And this woman, as fair as a goddess, mixed them a mess with the Priamian wine. She granted goat's milk, cheese, into it with a bronze grater, threw in it a handful of white barley meal, and having thus prepared the mess, she bade them drink it. When they had done so, and thus quenched their thirst, they fell talking with one another, and at the moment Patroclus appeared at the door. When the old man saw him, he sprang from his seat, seized his hand, led him into the tent, and bade him take his place among them. But Patroclus stood where he was, and said, Noble sir, I may not stay. You cannot persuade me to come in. He that sent me is not going to be trifled with. And he bade me ask who the wounded man was who you were bearing away from the field. I can now see for myself that he is an Achaean shepherd of his people. I must go back and tell Achilles, you, sir, know what a terrible man he is, and how ready to blame even where no blame should lie. And Nestor answered, Why should Achilles care to know how many of the Achaeans may be wounded? He recks not to this man that reigns in our host. Our most valiant chieftains lie disabled. Brave Diomed, son of Tydeus, is wounded still more overseas in Agamemnon. Eurypylus has been hit with an arrow in the thigh, and I have just been bringing this man from the field, he too wounded with an arrow. Nevertheless, Achilles, so gallant through he may be, cares not and knows no ruth. Will he wait until the ships to what we may are in a blaze, and we perish one upon the other? As for me, I have no strength nor stay in me any longer. Would that I were still young and strong, as in the days when was a fight between us and the men of Elias about some camp raiding. I then killed Isolmonius, the valiant son of Hyracles, a dweller in Elias. As I was driving in the spoil, he was hit by a dart thrown by my hand while fighting the front rank in the defense of his cows. So he fell, and the country people around him were in great fear. We drove off a vast quantity of booty from the plain, 50 herds of cattle, and as many flocks of sheep, 50 droves also of pigs, and as many wide-spreading flocks of goats. The horses, moreover, we seized 150, all of them mares, and many had balls running with them. As these we did, we drive by night to Pylos, the city of Neleus, taking them within the city in heart of Neleus. Was glad in that I had taken so much, though it was the first time I had ever been in the field. At daybreak the heralds went round crying that all in Elias, to whom there was a debt owing, should come, and leading the Pylians assembled to divide the spoils. There were so many to whom the Epians owed chattels, for we men of Pylos were few, and had been oppressed of wrong. In former years Hercules had come and had laid his hand heavy upon us, so that all our best men had perished. Neleus had 12 sons, but I alone was left. The others had all been killed. The Epians, presuming upon all this, had looked down upon us and had done us much evil. My father chose a herd of cattle and a great flock of sheep, 300 in all. He took their shepherds with him, for there was a great debt due to him at Elias to lift 4 horses, winners of prizes. They and their chariots with them had gone to the games and were to run for a tripod. But King Augeas took them and sent them back to the driver, grieving for the loss of his horses. Neleus was angered by what he had but said in them, and took great value in return, but he divided the rest, that no man might have less than his small share. Thus did we order all things, and offer sacrifices to the gods throughout the city. And 3 days afterwards the Epians came in the body, many in number, they and their chariots in full array, and with them the 2 Molianus and their armor, though they were still lads and unused to fighting. Now there is a certain town, Thrylosia, perched upon a rock, and on the river Alpheus, the border city of Pylos. This they would destroy, pitched their camp about it. But when they had crossed their whole plain, Athena darted down by night from Olympus, and bade us set ourselves in array. She found the willing soldiers in Pylos, for the men meant fighting. Neleus would not let me harm and hid my horses, for he said that as yet I could know nothing about war. Nevertheless Athena so ordered the fight, that all on foot as I was, I fought among our mounted forces, and died with the foremost of them. There was a river, Manius, that falls into the sea, near Arena, and there they were mounted, and I with them waited till morning, when the companies of foot soldiers came up with us in the horse. Then some bulk, panoply, and equipment, we came towards noon to the sacred waters of Alpheus, and there were offered the victims of Almighty Zeus, with a bull to Alpheus, another to Poseidon, and a herd heifer to Athena. After this we took supper in our companies, and laid us down to the rest, each in his armor by the river. The Athenians were beleaguering the city, and determined to take it, but ere as might be there was a desperate fight and sore for them. When the sun's rays began to fall upon the earth, we joined battle, praying to Zeus and to Athena. When the fight had begun, I was the first to kill my man, and take his horses. So with warrior Mollius, he was son-in-law to Augeas, having married his eldest daughter, golden-haired Agamede, who knew the virtues of every herb which grows upon the face of the earth. I speared him as he was coming towards me, and when I felt him lying in the dust, I sprang upon his chariot and took my place in the front ranks. The Epians fled in all directions. When they saw the captain of their horsemen, the best man they had laid low, and I swept down on them like a whirlwind, taking 50 chariots, and each of them 2 men, bits of the dust, slain by my spear. I should have even killed 2 Moliones, sons of Actor, unless their real father Poseidon, lord of the earthquake, had hidden them in the thick mist and borne them out of the fight. Thereon Zeus vouchsafed the Hylians a great victory, for we chased them far over the plain, killing the men and bringing in the armor, till we had brought our horses to Elysium, Virgin wheat into Olean rock with the hill that is called Alasion, at which point Athena turned the people back. There I slew the last man and left him. Then the Achaeans drove their horses back from Philocracium to Pylos, and gave thanks to Zeus among the gods and among mortal men to Nestor. Such was I among my peers as I surely as ever was. Achilles is for keeping all his valor for himself. Bitterly will he rue it hereafter, when the host is being cut to pieces. My good friend did not Menetius charge you thus on the day when he sent you from Phthia to Agamemnon. Odysseus and I were in the house inside, and heard all that he said to you. For we came to the fair house of Peleus, Menelaus, while beating up recruits throughout all Achaea. And when we got through, we found Menoetius and yourself and Achilles with you. The old knight, Peleus, was in the outer court roasting the fat thigh bones of Hyther to Zeus, the Lord of Thunder, and he held a gold chalice in his hand from which he poured the drink offerings of wine over the burning sacrifice. You two were busy cutting up the Hyther, and at that moment we stood at the gates whereon Achilles sprang to his feet to let us by the hand into the house, placed us at a table, and set before us such hospitable entertainment as guests expect. When we had satisfied ourselves with meat and drink, and said my say, and urged both of you to join us, you were ready enough to do so, and two old men charged you much more straightly. Old Peleus bade his son Achilles fight ever among the foremost and outlive the spears, and Menoetius, son of Actor, spoke thus to you, my son. Said he, Achilles is of nobler birth than you are, but you are older than he, though he is far the better man of the two. Counsel him wisely, guide him in the right way, and he will follow you to his own profit. Thus did your father charge you, but you have forgotten. Nevertheless, even now, say all this to Achilles. If he will listen to you, who knows but with heaven's help you may talk him over, for it is good to take a friend's advice. If, however, he is fearful about some oracle, or his mother has told him something from Zeus, then let him send you, and let the rest of the Myrmidons follow with you, and perchance you may bring life and savings to the Danaans, and let him send you into battle clad in his own armor, that the Trojans may mistake you for him, and leave off fighting. The sons of the Achaeans may thus have time to get to their breath, for they are hard pressed, and there is little breathing time in battle. You, who are fresh, might easily drive a tired enemy back to his walls and away from the tents and ships. With these words he moved the heart of Patroclus, who set off running by the line of the ships at Achilles, the son of Achaeus. When he had got as far as the ships of Odysseus, where was their place of assembly and court of justice, with their altars dedicated to the gods, Eurypylus, son of Eamon, met him, wounded in the thigh with an arrow, limping out of the fight. Sweat rained from his head and shoulders, and black blood welled from his cruel wound, that his mind did not wonder. The son of Menoetius, when he saw him, had compassion upon him, and spoke piteously, saying, O unhappy princes and counselors of the Danaans, are you then doomed to feed the hounds of Troy, with your fat far from your friends and your native land? Say, noble Eurypylus, will the Achaeans be able to hold great Hector in check, or will they fall now before his spear? Wounded Eurypylus made answer, noble Patroclus, there is no hope left for the Achaeans, but they will perish at their ships. All they that were prizes among us are lying struck down and wounded at the hands of the Trojans, who are waxing stronger and stronger. But save me and take me to your ship. Cut out the arrow from my thigh, wash the black blood from off of it with warm water, and lay upon it gracious herbs, which, so they say, have been shown by you, Achilles, who was himself shown them by Cheiron, most righteous of all the centaurs. For all of the physicians, Polydorius and Machaon, I hear that the one is lying wounded in a tent, and is himself in need of healing, while the other is fighting the Trojans on the plain. Hero, Eurypylus, replied the brave son of Menoetius, how may these things be? What can I do? I am on my way to bear a message to noble Achilles from Nestor of Rhene, bulwark of the Achaeans. But even so, I will not be unmindful of your distress. With this he clasped him around the middle and led him into the tent. And a servant, when he saw him spread bullock skins on the ground for him to lie on, he laid him at full length and cut out the sharp arrow from his thigh. He washed the black blood from the wound with warm water. He then crushed a bitter herb, rubbing it between his hands, and spread it upon the wound. This was a virtuous herb, which killed all pain. So the wound presently dried, and the blood left off flowing.